Good evening out there. How you guys doing? It's Mike Melton back from Pain to Purpose Podcast, episode 12. I got a very special guest on tonight. Went all the way down south with this one, man. And I want to introduce Coach Rolando Lamb in the building. What's up, Coach Lamb? How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing great, brother. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And before you say anything else, man, I want to say I appreciate the work that you're doing and what you're doing. You're using your life and your testimony to impact people. So that's a blessing. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, I just shared it on your page. All praises to the Most High, because He gets all the glory. I'm just a servant and a vessel for Him, man. Coach, I want to thank you for coming on. What attracted me to bringing your presence on, like I touched on a little bit off online, was I saw the post you was putting up and different things, and I immediately saw that, yeah, this brother's walking in the spirit, man, and you got a zeal
Yes.
that everybody don't have. You have a zeal for the Most High, and I said, this brother must have had an experience.
Yes.
Because the kind of zeal he has that usually comes from some kind of experience where nobody had to tell you God existed. Nobody had to, you ain't find out in the book.
Right.
You had an experience, brother. And
Yes.
I could tell that by your zeal, man. So I
Mm.
want to thank you for coming on, man, and taking time out your day.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning, man. How was it growing up in Portsmouth, Virginia, brother?
Man, let me tell you something, bro. I had a great upbringing. I grew up without my father. My mother raised 5 kids by herself, 4 boys and a girl. My grandmother had 17 kids,
Ooh.
5 sets of twins. So guess what?
Oh, your grandma had 5 sets of twins by herself?
Listen. By herself.
That's crazy.
17. Listen. So you know what that means? Granddaddy won't messing around. That brother. That brother won't messing around.
Wow.
But a huge family, man. A huge family. Lots of love. Like I said, I grew up without my father, so he wasn't there. So it was my mother, who was an incredible woman of faith, woman of God. And her mindset was, it was God and our family against the world. And her whole thing was the streets was not going to get her boys. And it was great, man. Seriously. I mean, just how she raised us. She emphasized 3 things. You're going to go to church, you're going to go to school, and you're going to get a job. I remember having a paper route at the age 11 and 12 and working that thing, boy. And she said, you're going to obey or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, that's how I was back then. Was single parenting normal in your neighborhood? Like having just a mom there? Was
Absolutely,
that normal? Yeah.
Yeah, it was normal because I grew up. I just thought it was normal not having my dad. I was like, I didn't realize that until I got a little older, got in high school, and they started calling my coach my father. I'm like, what? And so that's when I really recognized it.
Yeah, man, one of my brothers was on the other night, and we was talking about how, like, we was from the same neighborhood in Trenton, and we was from North Trenton, and how when somebody's dad came around, it was like a holiday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, your dad over? You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing, and that how we normalize trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what we did. We normalized trauma. You know what I'm saying? So now let's go into your adolescent years, man, and elementary, middle school years. Like, what was that like down there?
Man, it was like I started playing basketball at an early age, and I got good. And so that became my identity. So I mean, everywhere I would go, I would win these awards for playing basketball and stuff. But I was getting good, and like I said, that was becoming my identity as I was growing up. But again, in terms of my family, it was lots of love, and we was a tight-knit family.
It's 19 hours.
I mean, we really were. It was a tight-knit family, and it went back so quick though. And my mother, man, she was a protector. And the one thing my mother did though that was full of wisdom, she began as we got older, as I got a little older, 12, 13, 14, she started identifying men in the neighborhood who who could be a part of our life. Not just anybody. I mean, she handpicked these guys to be
Wow.
in our lives. And so because she knew at that point, she was like, y'all getting bigger now. I need some help with y'all. And
Mm.
that worked very well. It really
So you
did.
had a couple mentors that helped steer you away from like being out in the streets. Was there any allure to want to have curiosity what was going on in the streets?
Oh yeah, it was all out there, absolutely. But again, man, you listen, bro. It was so incredible. The thugs and the hoodlums in the neighborhood, they used to tell me, they said, "Now, Lamb," they call me Baby Lamb. They said, "Lamb, you gonna put Portsmouth on the map. We
Mm.
better not see you doing no drugs. You better go to school, because if
Mm-hmm.
you don't, we gonna beat your blankety blank." I mean, that's how they used to talk to me. I mean,
Mm.
and then they go back smoking,
Mm-hmm.
but they saw potential in me. So
Mm.
between my mother and those guys,
Mm-hmm.
man, I was on the straight and narrow pretty much.
That's good, brother. That's good money right there. You
Yeah.
very blessed with that. Yeah,
Oh,
I was like that too because my mom wasn't having it, bro.
right.
My mom. Now I know Portsmouth for the NBA camp thing. Did you ever used to
Oh yeah,
go there when you was
PIT.
younger?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Back
Wow.
in the day, bro. Listen, the PIT used to get
Yeah.
first round picks playing up in there. Matter of fact,
Mm.
John Lucas, who was the #1 pick, he played
Mm-hmm.
in the PIT. I
Yeah, I
mean,
remember that league right before the NBA draft used to happen. They used to have a league down there, right? Before the
yeah,
NBA
absolutely.
draft. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
That's what I remember the city from. They
Oh
used
yeah,
to be like
yeah,
playing down there and that thing. You know what I'm saying? Now
yeah.
you said the neighborhood knew that you was gonna be who you was, so you ended up going to Craddock High School.
Craddock High School. Yes,
And
sir.
and I ain't going front, bro. You was player of the year. You put up some like numbers. Like, take me through that experience.
Man, I was blessed, man. I mean, like I said, my high
Uh huh.
school coach, he
Uh
saw
huh.
me play in Little League,
Mm-hmm.
and he had his eye on me, and he was determined. He said, he was gonna help me, and he
Wow.
he helped me through the whole thing. But here's the thing, man. I remember this. My I was in 10th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of guys from the neighborhood, we was on our way to lunch. We
Uh
was in
huh.
school, and they said, "Come here, man, come here." So we went into another part of the building, and we started smoking.
Mm.
And man, a teacher saw us, and we took off running. And so the teacher didn't tell my mom or call my mom. He told my coach.
Mm.
Man, my coach, I walked in the gymnasium that day for practice. My coach grabbed me, threw me against the bleachers. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "You got too much potential for me to let you fail." And
Wow.
coach, man, I saw the disappointment in his eyes, man. I felt so bad. You see, people don't care what you know until they know that you
Oh, you
care.
care. Yeah.
And so I knew at that point my coach cared for me, not as a basketball player, but as a person. And
Mm.
man, I rearranged my priorities. I started doing better in school. I just started working out more, becoming a better ball player, all because I wanted to please my coach.
And did it play in the fact that he was a male and you
Oh
just
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
that male approval?
That was
Yeah.
huge. That
Yeah.
was huge.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
100%, man. 100%, man. And you ended up getting Tidewater Player of the Year. How
Yeah.
was that, man? Like, describe how those accolades was when back then.
Oh
Cause
man.
all we had was the newspaper. We ain't have no
Right.
and you might get a clip. Now, if you made it on the local news, you really was balling. You know
Oh
what I'm
man.
saying?
Absolutely. Look, we waiting for the newspaper, man, every week. Oh man. And when you, like you said, when you was in the newspaper, that was huge. It was big time.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember, now you'll remember this name. Remember Proctor, Dinky Proctor?
Um, vaguely, vaguely. Where did he
Uh,
end up going to college at?
he went to NC State. When he
Okay,
came out,
okay,
he was
okay.
compared to Magic Johnson. He was like a
Mm,
6'8" point guard. Oh, he was bad.
mm,
So they came to our area. They came to Norfolk, and we
mhm,
played in a tournament, a Christmas tournament against each other. And they built that thing up, man, because I was a top player in the
mhm,
area. And him coming from New Jersey, 6'8" point guard. Man, I ate him up. I ate him up. Look, matter of fact, this brother hit me up not too long ago. He's still mad about that game, man.
Now, is this the same area that Alonzo Mourning is from?
Yep, yep, same
Wow.
area. Yep.
Wow. Wow. I
Yes,
remember
sir.
saying that. I remember saying that. So then you out there and you have a great career at out of high school. Did you end up being like the all-time leading scorer or anything?
Yeah, well, at the time I was, but they had another brother, Petey Sessoms. Petey Sessoms. He
Mm-hmm.
came back. He came behind me and broke all my records. Oh, he boy, bad. He bad.
It was
Yeah,
nice. It
he
was
was nice.
nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
he ended
Wow.
up going to ODU, and then
Mm-hmm.
he played some time overseas. But he was nice, about 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Shoot it, man. Two guard, three. He could shoot it. So he broke all my records.
Who are some of the other top players from around? I know from the Hampton area, they had, of course,
Oh man,
Iverson.
Allen Iverson, he's
Yeah,
from that
Iverson.
area. Lonzo
Um,
Mourning. Who else? Come on, man. I just talked about some people just the other day. But it's been some really great talent.
you know who I saw and I was like, it was more hype than game, but maybe you was there, so it probably looked different to you when I saw Ronald Curry in basketball.
Oh, listen, he was the greatest, bro. You could say he's one of the greatest high school players ever, man,
Basketball?
and football.
No, I know in football, but when I saw him playing basketball in the McDonald's game and they was hyping it and they had it down there because of him, I don't know. He was cool, but it wasn't like I expected. I thought
Right.
he, you know what I mean? You know
Yeah, I
what I
know what you
mean?
mean, but he was the real deal. But
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
just think it was so much pressure on him, man.
Yeah, because of Iverson. Because Iverson
Yeah,
played both sports.
yep,
So, yeah, yeah. I
yep,
figured that. I
yeah.
figured they was hyping it because of him. Not saying the brother wasn't nice. He played for North Carolina, so he
Right.
had to be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
But I was expecting a little more when I had
Sure.
watched the McDonald game that night. You know what I mean?
Hmm, hmm.
So you starring down there, and then you end up at VCU. How did you pick VCU? What was the experience like going there?
Man, it was hard. It was hard in terms of picking the school because my recruitment was so intense because I
Mm,
decided to stay in state.
okay,
So
okay.
ODU, and I was in ODU's backyard.
Mm-hmm.
ODU, VCU, and Virginia Tech. I narrowed it down to those three schools. And back then there were no recruiting regulations. So man, they was at all my games. I mean, it was incredible. And
Mm,
so, but one of the reasons why I chose VCU was because the starting point guard was graduating,
mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
could come right in and start right away. And then I
Mm,
love the city, love the people,
mm-hmm.
and that's how I chose VCU.
Now, what was some of the highlights of your career playing at VCU?
Oh man, it's just a lot of them. But first of all, bro, when nobody told me this, when I went to VCU, I played for the coach from HELL,
Who was that? Who was the coach?
JD Barnett. Listen,
Wow.
he was a clone. You'll understand this when I say this. He was a clone of Bobby Knight.
Wow.
And so I never really adjusted to his coaching style. Because
Wow.
remember now, coming out of high school, my junior year averaged 27 points. My senior year, and coming out of high school, averaged 29 points. I get to
Mm-hmm.
VCU, man, I'm averaging 6 points a game.
Wow. Wow. So you never went and like watched them play before you committed there?
Yeah, I saw him play. Yeah, but they tell you all these great stories and all this kind of
Uh-huh.
stuff, and
Uh,
you answer the questions. Coach, what kind of offense you run? Oh no, we run and gun. Up and down, all that type stuff. And so I just was a novice. I'm just like, okay, coach, okay. And man, I get there. I mean, you got to pass the ball 30, 40 times before you shoot. I mean,
what what I gotta ask this question. I'll be asking people
right.
sometimes on your recruiting trip to watching the game, where did you sit?
Oh, I'm sitting courtside seats. I'm sitting right there. Yeah, I'm sitting.
Because I always tell kids, like, a lot of times the best place to sit is right behind the coach, so you
Mhm.
can really see how he's coaching.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because when you're on the other side and they give you good seats down, but you're on the other side,
Yep.
you don't really see how he's coaching, what he's saying in the huddle, how he's talking to them, what's
Right.
going on. You get what I'm saying?
I know
And
what you
and
said. Yeah.
and that's where I tell parents when they go on their recruiting trips and stuff like that, like, if you want to go see what he really doing, sit right there. You know what I mean?
But
So
this is
now
what
you
they
get
do too.
everything.
This is what they do too. They sit you by an alumni or a booster or
Uh-huh.
somebody. They in your ear. They talk. You want something to eat? This, that. I mean, and they just
Yeah,
talking to you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you
You
know,
can't really pay attention.
right at that time for
Yeah.
me, I couldn't really pay attention like I wanted to, and I ain't really think about it that way. I'm like, we got the top recruit here. Everybody welcome. Everybody waving at you. So you get caught up in the hype, bro. I promise you, you get caught up in the hype.
How
I
did
know.
you deal with going home and people looking at you like you didn't reach the scoring expectations that they thought you would on the next level, or you might have thought you would?
Oh man, it was tough. It was tough
Mm,
because I knew it and they knew it. I wasn't living up to expectations.
mm.
There were articles in the paper, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
I wasn't living up to my potential. And mind you, now, this is my freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. And, I'm averaging 6 points a game. So
Mm.
people at that point, people had written me off.
Wow.
People had written me off.
Did you think about transferring early on?
I tried to. Look, after my freshman year, coach talked to me, right? He said, I know you're not happy. He said, if you want to transfer, I'll help you leave. I said, okay, coach. So I went in and talked to him. I said, coach, I do want to transfer. No, you're not going nowhere. I said, coach, you told me. I don't care what I said. You're not going. He scared me, man. I was like, coach. So,
Oh,
so I was
wow.
stuck. I was stuck, right? So my sophomore year, I had a plan. I was like, oh, I'm out of here. I never forget, bro. We played at Norfolk Scope,
Mhm.
and I lived about 15 minutes from the Scope.
Mhm.
After that game, he went off. He went off on everybody. He cursed everybody out. I mean, it was just crazy. So I didn't go back with the team. I didn't go back to Richmond with the team. I went home. And
Mhm.
in my mind, I quit the team. I was done. I was
Mhm.
done.
Mhm.
My mother was like, "What you doing here?" I said, "Mom, you don't understand." I said, "Things not going well." I said, Coach be cursing me out. He called me all kind of names. He be talking about you." She said, "Wait a minute now. Hold up now. What you talking about?" I said, "I quit." She said, "You what?" She said, "No." She pointed at me, bruh. She said, "You not gonna quit." She said, "I felt like quitting, raising y'all,
Mm.
having your father wasn't here." She said, "I didn't quit, and neither are you. You
Mm.
going back to that school."
Mm.
She made me
Wow.
go back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
even after my junior year, I tried to quit. Didn't work out, bro. I was like,
Mm.
it was bad.
Mm.
It was bad.
Mm.
It was bad.
Mm.
So
So what happened your senior year?
so in between my junior year and senior year, midway during my junior year, bruh, I had a radical attitude transformation. That's
Wow.
when I accepted the Lord.
Wow.
And man, it changed my whole mindset, bro. It changed my whole mindset from and this was the thought. I remember it like yesterday. The thought was this. God said, I gave you my best. Now you have a responsibility to give me your best.
Mm.
So I'm like, man, now that applied to my schoolwork, that applied to basketball, that applied to relationships. I mean, everything. And man, I came back my senior year that summer, June, July, and August. Man, it was like I was training for the Olympics.
Wow.
And we was working out in the morning, swimming, um, conditioning, lifting weights. Because my mindset was this: before I got saved, I was like, I ain't doing nothing extra. Look,
Mm.
any lifting the weights, getting up extra shots. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't doing that because my mindset was that's gonna benefit the coach.
Oh,
Not realizing it was hurting me.
wow.
And so, but when the Lord said, "Give me your best," I had a mindset shift.
Psychic change.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
And that's what
yeah,
happened. That's what happened.
yeah.
And so, going into my senior year, man, it was like night and day. My scoring average, check this out. My scoring average went from 6 points to 17 points a game.
Wow.
Now, mind you, I told you we had to pass the ball 30, 40 times before we shoot. But the Lord gave me a strategy on how to get points, how many steals I need to get, how many free throws I get, how many free throws to shoot. I mean, the shots to take. It was crazy, man, how that
No,
thing happened.
wow, the Holy Spirit was telling you
Oh,
how to play the game.
oh man.
That's dope. That's dope.
Oh,
So then you ended up graduating, and then you go to first stop was getting drafted
mhm.
by the Seattle Supersonics.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
you get
sir.
drafted by the Supersonics. Take me through that night. And did you expect to get drafted? And what was going through your mind and everything at that time?
Well, going to my senior year at VCU, I was on no NBA scouting reports.
Okay.
But as the season was going, I was doing so good, people started noticing me. The NBA started noticing me. And so,
Mm-hmm.
boom, next thing I know, yeah, there was a real good chance that I was going to get drafted. So yeah, I had an expectation. And
Wow.
so, boom, get drafted. Man, it was the perfect place for me. It was the perfect place for me to get drafted. I get to Seattle and I wasn't playing as well. And I would love, Mike, I would love to be able to tell you, man, I hurt my knee, I twist my
Mm-hmm.
ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Look, man, I did not make it because of my mindset.
Oh.
This was my mindset. I played not to get cut versus playing to make the team.
Playing not to lose.
Hey man, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. I tried to play it safe. The shots I knew I could make, I didn't take them. Just playing it safe. If I had the mindset, I'm going to play to make this team, man, I'm driving to the basket,
Yeah.
taking the open shot and hitting the open man. I mean, I didn't play like that. No coach want a player like that. End
Mm.
up getting cut.
And
Oh,
what happened? I mean, take me to that moment, and then what happened?
I never forget, man. I played against my last exhibition game. Played against John Stockton.
Oh.
So look, so I'm looking at this guy, right? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eat him up tonight. I was like, I'm gonna eat him up. Man, once the game started, this brother picking me up full court, 94 feet, following me, doing all kind of stuff. I mean, but he playing within the rules. I
Uh-huh.
mean, he's so smart. He was in supreme shape. I mean, this guy ran circles around me, man.
Wow.
After that game, the coach called me to his hotel room because it was a away game, and so we was on the road. And the coach said, he said, you did good, but and my mind went blank, man.
Mm.
He was telling me that, we gotta let you go, but you could play in the CBA and all that type stuff. At that point, I didn't want to hear that.
Mm.
And once it happened, man, I went into a state of depression. I
Take
was,
me there, bro. Take
yeah.
me there. Like,
So,
what is that? What was that like?
so here's the deal. I had just got married, and so my
Mm-hmm.
wife was finishing up classes at VCU.
Mm-hmm.
I get cut, and I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna set foot on VCU campus." Because
Wow.
everybody be like, what you doing here? Hey, how you doing? All that. I say, I couldn't
Yeah.
face nobody. I literally went back to Portsmouth to my mom's house and I secluded myself in a room. And
Wow.
man, I was so defeated. I was so depressed. And I asked myself two questions. Who am I and what can I do?
Mm.
And man, I was just like, my mother, thank God, Mike. Thank God I had a praying mother, a woman of faith, because
Mm-hmm.
she was praying for me the whole time. She'll fix me food and stuff, knock on the door and give it to me. And but she was praying for me. She was interceding for me the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, man, maybe after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we had a conversation. And I said, I'm done. I ain't playing no more. And she was like, she said, you got a gift. She said, don't quit yet. Don't quit. Now she didn't talk to me like I was when I was in college.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was like, no, you ain't go quit. But at that point, I was a man, and she knew
Mm-hmm.
that I had to make some decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but she talked me into it, man. And because of my respect for her, I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
And so God heard her prayers. God moved on my heart. And at that time, the CBA was going on, and so I decided, yep, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play in the CBA. And
So when you at that moment when you was in that dark bottom, that's when you had your transformation into totally turning everything over to God.
not yet, not yet,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
because God was still working on me. Because
Okay.
now
Okay.
I get to the CBA, right?
Okay.
I didn't want to be there. Okay,
At least you keeping it real. At least
keeping it real. I'm like, I'm supposed to be in the NBA, not the CBA. These
uh-huh.
letters are wrong. I'm praying for the wrong letters, man. Speaking CBA. So,
Mhm.
but this is what happened though. I get in the CBA, and I was in Bangor, Maine, of all places, bruh. It got dark there at 4 p.m. I'm looking around, man. It was cold, snow there. I mean, I was like, nah, I was supposed to be. So, but I said, okay, I'm gonna make the best of this. Okay. And then my mindset started changing. So they would get us to do PR work for the school, for the
Mhm.
team.
Mhm.
And we'd go in there, say no to drugs. That was the big message. Say no to drugs and get your education. Man, some of the guys on the team, they couldn't wait to get back to the room to do drugs.
Mm.
Or we go in a restaurant, these brothers couldn't read.
Wow.
They said, Lamb, what you getting? I look at it, read it, say, yeah, I'm gonna get that. They said, yeah, I'm gonna get the same thing. I
Wow.
was like, something ain't right here. And so that's when the Lord began to move on my heart. That's when the transformation began to kick in. I'm talking about the total transformation
Wow.
began to kick in. And the Lord said, you are an example. Athletes, these young people look at athletes as role models and
Mhm.
look at what's happening, the level of hypocrisy that's there. And the
Mm.
Lord said, you got to do something about it. Now, I still ain't know what to do about it, but that's what was on my heart at the time. So
Mhm.
once the first season ended, I started going to this church, Bishop Wellington Boone. He's
Mhm.
my spiritual father. He was just preaching from the pulpit, and he started answering these questions. He said, who's going to oversee the sports world? Who's going to be godly role models to these athletes and coaches? And here I'm looking
Mm.
around. I'm like, yeah, who gonna do that? And the Lord said, you.
Mm.
And then I partnered up with another player that played at VCU, and we started praying and we started
Wow.
strategizing, bro. And man, we started going to all the schools in the city of Richmond at that time, because I moved back to Richmond, and we started working with VCU team. We started working with Virginia Union. We started working with all the colleges And man,
Wow.
it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Wow.
And I decided to stop playing. I didn't play anymore. My wife had just got pregnant. And
Mm-hmm.
so, man, just how God ordered my steps and the transformation of my heart and mind using sports to really reach the young brothers, man, and sisters. And it was
Mm-hmm.
incredible, man. It was incredible.
What when you went back there and that spirit was moving through you and you talking to the kids, give me your reaction after the first time you did it and you was walking out the gym. Like how did it feel?
Well, first of all, it's interesting you said it the first time. I was scared. I was nervous.
Mm,
I was like, man, what am I gonna say?
mm,
Oh, man, seriously, I didn't know what to say. And then um, I just stepped up and I started speaking and I saw their faces because
there
I
you
saw
go.
myself in
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
and it, and it it's like resonated with them, man. And they were so thankful. The coach
Wow,
was happy. He thought he was thankful. And man, he said, you got to come back. And bro,
wow.
it was like I was in my calling. I was
I
doing
know the feeling. I was at rehab the second time I went,
uh-huh,
and I had never told my story before, and I was on the last the day you get your coin and it's the last day of rehab. So that's when you tell your story.
uh-huh.
And I told my story, the whole thing, and it was like 150 people in the room from
Right.
the owner to the last person that just came into the rehab.
Mm.
And everybody froze and they was looking through me. And
Wow.
that's when I knew that this was my purpose. Like, yeah, so I understand what you're talking about, that feeling that go through you when it's
Oh,
like everybody freeze and
bro.
they looking at you and you like, and the most high is like, yeah, now you see what all of this is about. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
because
Yes.
up to that point, I didn't know why I went through all of that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I'm like, why you all of this?
Mm. Oh,
And I often tell people like, if he would have told me I had to go through all of this to get to him, I would have asked for option B. You know
right.
what I mean? like, you know what I'm saying? But in
Absolutely.
that moment, I
Yeah.
understood it.
It was worth it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I understood it then.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about. That's why you don't kill yourself and
Mm.
it ain't nothing against people that did, but when you
Mm.
get to the end of that alley,
Oh boy.
then
Ooh.
you understand what this is about.
Right.
But it's getting down that dark alley. Once you get to the end of it and that light is there, then you see,
You see,
oh,
this is what it's about.
yeah,
Start
yeah,
to connect the dots, bro. You start to
yeah,
connect the dots. I'm telling you.
yeah, yeah. So then you get in there and you start going out doing your thing. Now, I want to touch on the other side of it.
Mhm.
You out there doing that. The adversary don't like that. Did he send any attacks at you?
Oh man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It
I
was
know how it go. Everybody think it's sweet when they see you speaking. They
yeah.
don't know what be coming on the other side of it, man.
So this is what happened with us, man. We
Uh-huh.
started this organization, this ministry, Athletes with Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
was bold, we was strong about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I'm here in Richmond. I moved to Atlanta to
Mm.
reproduce everything we did here in Atlanta. My partner got caught up, and this how the adversary came at us, bro. My partner got caught up in a Ponzi scheme.
Mm.
It destroyed our ministry, man.
Wow.
I mean, it was devastating. I mean, it was so
Wow.
devastating. He ended up going to prison. I mean, he did prison time.
Mm.
And so everybody associated with it, bro, we had millionaires on our board of directors. We was in all the schools. I mean, we
Mm.
had these restaurants would allow us to come in to bring teams. But we had the
Mm.
city on lockdown.
Mm.
All that stuff went down.
And it was the lack of being content with what he had provided for y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was
Wow.
sad, man. I went through a spiritual death with that one
Mm.
because I was so committed to the vision and the ministry, and all of a sudden it crumbled, man. And I was devastated. I was devastated. So now I'm living in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to rebuild everything, right?
Mm.
Rebuild everything. And now I'm starting my family. So at that time, well, I still do 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl, 3
Mm-hmm.
boys and a girl. And I came across some information, and I don't know if you know this, you probably do, but I came across some research information about the game of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that took my ministry and my whole mindset to another level. The original purpose for the game of basketball, James Naismith, the original purpose for the game of basketball was to be an evangelistic tool to win people to Christ.
You gotta send me that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I never heard that. You gotta send me
Bro,
that.
in 1891, he worked for the YMCA, Young
Yeah,
Men
yeah,
Christian
yeah,
Association. They was
yeah.
having major problems with the youth back then. They were
Mm.
in between football and baseball season.
Mm-hmm.
He was given the assignment to do something with the youth
Mm-hmm.
because it was too cold to take them outside. So he had to do something. It was during wintertime. He prayed and asked God what to do. God gave him the game. He gave him the revelation of the game of basketball, James Naismith. And so
Mm.
when I came across the information, I said, man, I said, I'm gonna start using basketball, personal training, camps, clinics. I'm gonna use that to reach people. And that's what I
Mm.
started doing. I started doing camps, started doing clinic. I even started
Mm.
doing some coaching at Carver Bible College in Atlanta.
Mm.
Because God started opening these doors, man. And along the way, now I told you I had 3 boys, right? Listen, bro, I started training them brothers. I started training.
Wow.
I said, one of y'all going to the league, one of y'all going to the NBA. And so my son, Jeremy
That's your
Lamb,
son?
come on, bro. I'm
Bro,
trying.
all this time I was interviewing. That's how. No, hold on. I just want to say this.
Yes, sir.
That's how you know this is like me reaching out to you is purely the Holy Spirit.
Wow.
I had no idea that was your son, bro.
Wow.
Real rap. I picked you literally on looking at your post and the zeal you have for the Most High.
Come on, man.
I'm just finding out this your son by you saying this. I would have had a picture of him somewhere in here. I didn't know that. Wow.
Look, man.
Nah, because it was purely off of me
That's amazing.
seeing the
Yes,
Holy Spirit in your work
Yes, sir.
by me watching. You get what I'm saying? By
Yeah.
me looking at your stuff. I'm like, one day you put something, I'm like, yeah, I see this dude doing this. Then
Right.
2 days, 3 days, I'm like, yo, who this dude? Now I see he got a basketball thing, but he not just putting some scriptures, he putting some stuff up here. So I'm like, who this dude, man? That's
Right.
when I inboxed you.
Yes, sir.
And we're like, yo, brother, I had
Yeah.
no idea that was your son, bro.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And
Wow. So all right, go back. You said that you said one of y'all going to the league.
yeah. So and so now, when we moved to Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
we were so disappointed in the educational system. I mean, Atlanta's school system was ranked 49th in the whole country, bro. It was
I can believe it. I can
seriously,
believe
it
it.
was horrible. So we started homeschooling. And I started coaching in homeschool, all that type stuff. But the whole time I'm training them guys. I'm training my son. Then my oldest, he only played up to high school.
Okay.
Then my other son, his name is Zach. He's a little older than Jeremy. He ended up getting a D1 scholarship. Could have went pro, man. This brother calls me up. He was at California State University. He called me up. No, I'm sorry. He texted me.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, basketball not fun no more. I don't want to play. Man, I called that rascal up immediately. I said, man, what you? He said, no, Dad. I said, no. You already said what you're going to say. Now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say. Son, quitting is not an option for you. If you
Mm.
quit, this is what I told him. I said, if you quit, you're gonna be homeless because you can't come
Mm.
back here.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So I said, son, basketball is your meal ticket. I said, now once you graduate, and I emphasize that. I said, once you graduate and you don't want to play no more, okay. But right now, you got to finish this thing out.
Mm.
And he did. He did finish, and he graduated. But he said, Dad. Now here's the issue, though. The brother had NBA talent. I had NBA scouts tell me. They said, y'all talking about Jeremy. Zach is better. Zach
Mm.
is an NBA point guard. Man, he's about 6'3 and a half, left-handed point guard, could flat out play, bro. He could flat out play, but he just did not have that passion and that
Yeah, the
desire.
passion for it. Yeah.
And at that point, listen, bro, if
It
you
ain't
don't
nothing you
have
could do.
ain't nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Ain't
Yeah.
nothing
You
you can do.
can't. Yeah. You can't
Now,
do nothing
Jeremy,
with it.
on the other hand, he had it. He
Yeah.
had it. Ended
Yeah.
up going to UConn. And
Uh-huh.
his freshman year, bro, they won it all. Him and
I
Kimmel
remember. I remember.
won
I
it all.
remember.
And
Now,
go ahead.
when you have a son like that, and you just went through the situation with the Ponzi thing and this and that,
Mm-hmm.
what was the spiritual warfare battle of that life is right there? Because I know the attention was coming with you diving back in, and or you stand faithful to the Most High in that Bible. What was that battle like?
It was almost like, man, the Lord like protected me because
Wow.
it was like the word had gone out to
Mm-hmm.
the coaches, everybody, that I was a serious man of God.
Mm.
And so they respected that. And
Mm.
a lot of guys didn't come at me with a lot of mess.
Mm.
I mean, that's what I mean when I said the Lord protected me.
Mm.
And they just didn't come at us with a lot of stuff, man. They really didn't.
Oh, praise to the Most High, man.
Gotta praise God
Oh,
for it,
praise. Was it hard to keep him grounded, being that young and having all that attention and stuff?
man. You know what? God gave me a strategy. He gave me a strategy because I
Mm.
would not let them play AAU until they got a little older.
Wow.
The AAU, I was disappointed, and I'm still disappointed. And you know this.
Mm-hmm.
They're not teaching the fundamentals like they should, bro. I mean, they focus more on playing the games than practicing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And kids, the fundamentals of the kids is bad. Is really bad. And so what I did was, once he got on a high level
Mm-hmm.
AAU team, my thing was this: I'm gonna take the church to those guys.
Ooh, take me there.
So what I would do was, I would have chapel times with the teams, because
Mm.
they play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so they missing church and all that stuff. I would be right there with them, giving them a message, sharing the word with them, all
Mm.
of them, not just my son, all the guys. You
Mm.
see, but that was the strategy that the Lord gave me. And
Mm.
that's how I developed that reputation as America's character coach, and
Mm.
mentoring those guys and being there for them because I could relate to them. I was there. I mean,
Wow.
I know how these guys think. I know their dreams. I know what they want to accomplish. All those type things. And get this, coach. I could still play too. So I could take them guys on the court.
They talking sweet. I got something for him.
Throw 'em a little some. So, but all of that stuff was ministry. The Lord used all that
Mm.
stuff as ministry, man. And
Mm.
and so that's how I was able to keep my sons grounded just in that whole environment, man. It was amazing. It was
Mm. Speaking of that, man, I saw a video the other day that I shared, and then I saw you share it.
amazing.
I don't know if you got it from me, but we both shared the same thing.
Right.
And we're gonna take a look at it, and then I want to get your take on it. Is
Okay.
Michael Beasley talking, and he's
Yes.
talking about mental health and things of
Right.
that nature.
Okay.
Trying to make sure I could get it turned on. Hold up.
Mhm.
A life I never had, but then now I can tell a story of you taking the only life I know.
Mm.
You understand?
It's always a price. It's
So
always a price.
the money that is okay, that's cool, but we're dribbling the ball when you leave high school. When you're in high school and you know, you skipping class if you're dribbling the ball with us.
Yeah.
You graduating and having going to college and we're still dribbling the ball. And you're having kids and watching them grow up and we're still dribbling the ball. And then they take the only life we know and then we look crazy for still dribbling the ball.
Yeah.
We don't know what taxes are. We don't know what a W-2 are. We never seen a fucking resume, let alone know what the real world is. And some guys figure it out, some guys don't. And the ones that don't, the world just laugh at. Delonte West,
Yeah, the world's tough. The
Allen
world can be
Iverson
tough.
for a while. Fucking Antoine Walker had to get through it.
Yeah.
It's like that's not fair. That's wrong. That's wrong. And as great as my life can be or is or I just can't never not acknowledge that part. Like you can tell a story of
Mm.
What you think, bro?
Wow, that's deep, man. I'm teaching on this right now, man.
Mm-hmm.
Life before the game, life during the game, life after the game.
Mm.
I'm only deal with life before the game. You see, our identity is greater than the sport we play.
Mm-hmm.
And in Jeremiah chapter 1, it says this. God says this. He said, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you.
Mm-hmm.
Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And the problem is most athletes get their identity and value from the sport they play, not realizing that God has already given them an identity.
Mm.
Anytime you get your value from what you do, if it ain't going right, guess what? You're going to feel bad about it. If it's going good, you're going to be on cloud 9.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's not the way God intended for us to live. And
Mm.
so then the second thing is who they surround themselves with.
Mm.
If you surround yourself with people who just want to latch on to you because of your money, because of your fame and all that stuff, when it dries up,
Mm-hmm.
they scatter like roaches,
All facts.
right?
All facts.
And so we're going in there in the middle schools and high schools, and we are teaching them about
Mm-hmm.
identity and purpose and legacy. Those three things: identity, purpose, and legacy. You see,
Mm-hmm.
listen to this, bro. When you talk about your destiny and when you talk about your legacy, destiny is what God puts in you and you live out. Legacy is what you put in others and they live out.
I'm still in that, coach. I'm letting you know that now, coach. I'm still in that, coach. I'm still in that, coach.
But I'm serious, man. This need to be taught to our athletes, man, because
Mm.
if it's not being taught, and then you have people who's modeling it out for them, it's going to get worse and worse
I know,
and
man.
worse.
I shared with you a little bit that I felt bad about that. Like I started thinking about and my purpose, like with the website and the videos and the stuff I used to do was young. I put a lot of kids out there, and it was for the purpose of them to see their potential. And a lot of kids said that I helped them and helped them get scholarships and things of that nature because their names was out there earlier. You know what I mean? But it was a few instances where especially one that I had to repent for, and so to some people it might sound like, well, that's this regular stuff, but to me it wasn't. I had always said that there's certain lines that I wouldn't cross in terms of promoting my brand and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when Amani Bates was in 7th grade,
Mm.
I had saw him in 6th grade and I knew he had the potential to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
So we had camp in 7th grade summer, and I had said I'd never fly a kid and his family to my camp because I knew that what kind of impression would that make on them, that it might change their mindset to like to start thinking that too much too fast.
Right.
Like
right.
I arrived, am I poisoning their mindsets in terms of this journey? You know what I mean? And I had 2 other partners in the camp. And I'm not blaming them because it all came down to my decision to be like, because it was my brand.
Right, right.
And I wasn't even into the Most High at the time. I was an alcoholic and living a sinful life, fornicating, probably adultery. I don't know what I was doing at that time, but it wasn't good things. But I still knew I shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
For some reason, it was that like, don't do. And I did it once my other 2 partners said, we got to do this. You're going to be able to get them on video and it's going to launch it and this and that. But the spirit was telling me back then, like, don't ever cross that line. That's a little too much. Now, letting them come to camp for free. Of course, every camp, you're going to have some comps. You know what I mean? But flying them and paying for their hotel and rent a car. You know what I mean? 7th grade, that's a lot. You know what I mean? And
yes, sir.
And when he started to go off the rails and like at the end of high school and college or whatever happened, bro, I felt so convicted, bro.
Yeah.
I felt convicted because I wondered what part did that early thing play in that.
Yeah, what seed was sown at that
point. And to some people that don't understand what we're talking about, they won't get it. But I had to repent and I had to ask the Most High for forgiveness because, like, what part did I play in that whole situation?
Right, right.
And I always said that I would never take it that far. Like, now if his dad would have came all the way there, then I would have let him in free, but to pay for the air tickets and the hotel and the car. So now his dad on the phone probably, and his dad cool, but ain't no telling what kind of chatter was going on, what kind of, you get what I'm now? You understand what I'm saying, being in that position, man.
Yes,
you know
I understand.
So
I get it.
That was one thing I had to repent for, that I felt bad that I did, man. You know what I mean? So, but this your story though, that just jarred up the situation. Now, do you think the NBA is responsible? Now, I don't know if they do this because I'm not in the integals. You had a son that played, of course. You know the process. Do they have players that like didn't make it or had to retire early coming in telling these guys how to prepare for when it's over?
Absolutely. I mean, they have all those. I mean, every rookie that comes in, they go through these seminar classes. I mean, they have all that stuff set up, no question about it. And it's great information. I mean, it's the real deal, no question about it. And if these guys would take heed to it, it would help a lot of the guys. But what happens is, because, and this is what I say, man, a lack of strength of character. It's not that these guys don't know right from wrong. They don't have the strength of character to follow through to do what's right. This is what I say, Coach. The one you feed will lead.
Yeah, the flesh or the spirit.
There you go.
We wake up with that battle every morning.
Every morning.
So if you go on, if you reading your scriptures and you listening to the right music, that spirit gonna get fed. If you turn on Instagram and you looking for some baddies, that flesh gonna get fled. When you wake up in the morning, it starts off.
And so the one you feed is gonna be stronger. So you feeding your flesh. You could know something is wrong, but that flesh, because it's stronger, that's the direction it's gonna move. We always move in the direction of our most dominant thoughts. And so this is what you have. These guys go through these classes, they know right from wrong. But they don't have the strength of character to follow through to do what's right. That's why I'm advocating, and you're gonna hear me say more about this. Every team needs what I call a character coach.
Oh.
Every team, coach. Every team needs
Oh.
a character coach. And yeah,
Oh.
they have chaplains and all that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about a coach, a character coach who's going to coach the inner man.
Yeah, but coach, I'm gonna be 100 with you, right?
Go ahead.
In the ways that might interrupt with some of their goals and situations, because a lot of times they be trying to get some of that money back they paying these kids. So if you got somebody in there that's really character coaching them, and now they not going to that owner's club because now they going to Bible study, or they not spending all that money at that owner's car lot because now y'all done taught them how to manage their money for retirement. You know what I'm saying? Or they not buying a penthouse in that owner's building because y'all done told them that they don't need that. Now y'all kind of becoming counterproductive in this whole process. We got to get that money back. They only gotta, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly
They only
what
got
you're
it.
talking about.
They only got like a 5 to 7 year window before this thing is over with.
I mean, listen, bro. It's out of control. I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example, and we'll come back to the NBA, but deal with college. The
Indeed.
NIL.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
deal with
crazy.
NIL.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
out of control, man. See, here's the deal, too. Okay, and I'm all for guys getting paid. Get paid. I think they should. I've always said this, that the NCAA is the closest thing to modern day slavery.
Facts.
And so, but these kids getting this money, this big time money, some of them are millionaires, bro.
I know.
The number one reason, I'm gonna ask you, Coach, see if you know, what's the number one reason? Because they said when a professional player, a professional player go broke after 5 years, what's the number one reason for that, Coach?
Marriage or baby moms?
Nope.
What?
Is not being informed about taxes.
Whoa.
That's number one. Now those other ones that kick in too. Kick in too. But not being informed about taxes is the number one reason. Now, like my man said, that's part of my A game system. You got attitude, then you got academics. I'm not talking about just making good grades. I'm talking about being a lifelong learner. I'm talking about, listen, with the information out here nowadays, man, on the internet, the books, all this stuff, there are no excuses, bro. They learning about this stuff now, about investing, about how money works, all that type stuff. They can do that. It's at their fingertips, man. I'm telling you, it's at their fingertips. But we need to sound the alarm and almost, force people to do it. And you have some coaches who do it, but I'm talking about on a whole, it's not happening like it should, bro.
But Coach, when they young like that and the attention is coming and the money is coming and you getting $300,000 checks, $500,000 checks in a 2-week period, you don't ever think it's gonna stop.
I know. And that's,
you get what I'm saying? Like that's the like the whole thing. You like, and I'm young and this and that. You don't see me, you don't see yourself getting waived. You get what I'm saying? Like, and then, so now when you push it down into the college level, bro, I was going crazy from a refund check. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought I was balling because I got a refund check. You talking about? Come on, Coach. What you would have did at VCU if you was getting 1.5 your freshman year?
Bro, listen. if the NIL was around when I was coming out, I'd be a millionaire. I'm serious, bro. I was a leading scorer in the state of Virginia.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
yes, I'm with you.
Your character would have been, if you didn't have God totally in it at that young.
Yeah. And
that's what I'm saying, that it's destroying the kids at a younger age. You get what I'm saying? So I agree. So now I said on other podcasts, I agree that they should get paid, but put it in a account.
Yeah.
That once they get done, they got all of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At this age, come on, bro, they making more than some of the coaches. So how you gonna really coach them?
Right, you can't. I mean, I know you remember this. I mean, this past season, NCAA, when Rick Pitino benched their star player at
Yeah.
St. John. That I know that brother was sitting on the bench like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna hit the
Facts.
transfer portal. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Facts. Now, coach, we almost at the end, but
Mhm.
it was something that I saw on your page that intrigued me to say. You wrote something about idolatry in sports.
Mm.
Take me there. What made you like go there? Because I always thought about this.
Yeah.
And I took it back to when I was young, and that's what we called them. I called them my idol.
Right.
I put their poster on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and when I look at the commandments, some people might think, yo, you going too hard with this, but he tells us not to do that.
Right.
And that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? Such and such is my idol. You put your poster on the wall, you looking up to him. And we used to say that. I look up to him.
Right.
Now we saying all these words, but not really understanding. Yeah. So what's your take on this?
Here's the deal, coach. Here's the deal. When you don't know who you are, when you don't know who you are, man, that stuff leads to a false identity. The false identity turns into idolatry. Couple scriptures. It says, we have worshiped the works of our own hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's in Jeremiah. The other one is in Romans, where it says, we have worshiped the creature more than the creator.
Mm.
And so instead of humbling ourselves and being grateful to God, man, we rise up in pride and we say, look at me. I'm the one responsible for it, not God.
All facts.
I'm the one responsible. And so that's what you get, man. And that's what you got in society. And bruh, people ain't gonna want to hear what I gotta say, but hey, man, we gotta tackle this stuff. We gotta hit it hard. And I'm starting with our younger kids,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, God opening doors, all that type stuff. But we got to tell the truth, man. The truth gonna set people free.
Coach, I gotta ask you this question, to get your thoughts on it.
Yes.
And I don't know this brother's story. He might be very well able to do it because I don't live with him. I'm not around him. I don't know what it is, and I'm not trying to judge him or say he can't do it or can't do it. But if you see somebody like a LeBron James, who from all of these years had people catering to him everywhere he go, everything he do, he walk out the house, he got whatever he need all the time, people servicing him, basically worshiping the ground he walk on.
Yeah.
How hard do you think it is for him to have the humility to actually serve God the way that the Most High wants you to serve him? If you was in that kind of position, how hard would you think that would be?
Be extremely hard, based on what you just said. I mean, at your fingertips, people bowing down, literally bowing down to you.
Mm-hmm.
It is extremely hard. It can be done now, but again, you gotta have the right people around you. You gotta, and the brother's a good guy. I mean, he do good. He do, you know what I'm saying? He do some good stuff. The school he opened, he do good stuff. But you and I know is much deeper than that.
Way deeper.
It's much deeper than that.
Way deeper.
You know.
Way deeper. I was just watching the House of David, and they showed one of the scenes where Samuel was talking to David's dad, and he told him about the Most High be wanting you to show him that ultimate sacrifice, that you're willing to walk away from something or give up something really like the biggest thing that you love the most,
right? For
him to see, you know what I mean? And when I see these kind of situations, I'll be wondering, because I had to do that when I gave up basketball. You know what I mean? And I had to really do that. But once I did it, I felt the closeness to him like no other.
Wow. Yes, sir.
You get what I'm saying? Because it was violating with doing the Sabbath. And I just felt like I can't really witness to people and do the things I'm supposed to do if I'm not all the way in.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So then when I did it, it was like, all right, now I don't know how I'm gonna replace that money, but I know that he gonna have me where I need to be at, and I was ready to go.
Wow.
That it was funny because I did a video about 2 months ago. The spirit came on me, and you'll remember this.
Mm-hmm.
The theme song off the show Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Irene Cara, and I just listened to the lyrics one day.
Uh-huh.
And it sounded just the stuff that Lucifer say.
Wow.
And I played it in my head like I want to live forever. You know what I'm saying? I want to fly high, you know?
Yeah.
And then I did more studying on it, how Satan introduced fame.
Wow.
Because he wanted people to be worshipped enough where they wouldn't worship God.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So when I looked at the idol to you, so hard for me to say that word to be hard, right?
Idolatry.
Idolatry. When I look at it and I see what's going on around us with the music industry, the basketball stuff, the movies, the what's the name, it's so much of that once people get caught up in it, it's almost impossible to want to come out.
Oh. Hey, it goes all the way back to the garden, though. Think about it.
Let's get there, coach.
What did he tell him? What did the devil tell him? Look, he said, if you eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you should be as gods, knowing good and evil. And so what are we dealing with? What are we dealing with? The spirit of meism. We dealing with, we think we're God unto ourselves. We think, look, what it said in Proverbs, there's a way that seems right to a man
that leads to death,
but the end thereof is death.
Wow.
I mean, you can look at a lot of these political stuff, all this stuff. And I ain't trying to take it political, but everybody want to be right. Everybody think they right. You get a chance, you get a chance, read the scripture in Psalms 50, verse 20, verse 22. It talks about, it says, God said, you thought I was like you. God said, you thought I was like you. And when you was doing your mess, he said, I kept quiet. He said, but I'm going to rebuke you. That's what he says. And then he says, my thoughts are not your thoughts in Isaiah. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your way. They're much higher as far as the heavens are from the earth. That's how far God's ways are, man. It's just amazing, bro. So we got to sound the alarm. We got to shine the light. We got to be the example best we can, man, because it's crazy out here.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me. It's going wild, man. And when you coach now, do you have any teams and stuff that you coach?
Yeah, we started a post-grad program. During COVID, we started a post-grad program, Chosen One Academy. Man.
I had that on my thing. Like, take me into the Chosen One Academy. What's that about?
Oh, yeah. So during COVID, I mean, a lot of our kids started getting overlooked, man. I mean, it was just crazy. You know, sports got shut down and all that. And so we started a post-grad program, basketball. And, man, we getting these kids into schools, getting them at the next level. We're training them spiritually, mentally, and physically.
What you be doing spiritually?
Oh, my curriculum, A-game. We're teaching them A-game. I mean, we have chapel times with them. We sit down with them. I'm the character coach. I'm coming in there teaching these brothers on a weekly basis because the first year, we're going into our third year. The first year, I was the coach. I actually coached the team. So I'm there. And so now I'm coming in on a weekly basis to teach these guys the word, talking about character, you know, why you doing what you're doing, all that stuff. And but yeah, man, giving these guys another opportunity, man. So Chosen One Academy. This past year, bro, we one of the top 100 programs. I'm talking about in post grads in all the country, the whole country.
Mhm.
We're in the top 100. We got into the top 100. Matter of fact, we 60, like 67 right now. So the
y'all rated even higher than that, coach, because y'all probably one of the few ones that's teaching them about that word, brother.
Oh, doing it the right way, coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That right there is above everything.
Oh.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
you get
sir.
what I'm saying? I have a young fella I mentor, and he's decent in basketball, and he has a chance to maybe get a scholarship. And when we talk the last like 2 years, when we talk, I don't talk hoops with him because I already know he know how to play.
Right.
I told him, I want you to be a God-fearing young man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I told him this. I said, listen, man, you got the two most important decisions you're gonna make in your life is one, as a young man, one is to turn your life and will over to God. And two, the woman you pick to live your life with.
Yes.
I told him, I said, now those things, I want to groom you for that.
Yes.
The basketball thing will take care of itself. But if you get those two things wrong,
that'll fix it.
You know what I mean, coach?
Yes,
so,
sir.
coach, at the end, I always give brothers a chance to shout out the people that really helped them through their journey. You know what I mean? From pain to purpose, man. So it's your opportunity to let those people out there that you want to let know helped you out through this journey, brother.
There's so many, man. I got to start with my mother. She passed away in 2019. Tremendous woman of God, woman of faith. She put that winning spirit in me.
All praises, all praises.
It's tremendous, man. Then my high school coach, he's also passed away, Coach John Sumner. He was a principals, man, and he never let up on me. He told me he was the first one outside of my family to believe in me. Not just basketball, but believe in me as a person. And just tremendous man. And then my good friend, Calvin Duncan. We both got saved at VCU at the same time, man. And we've been walking this walk in the Lord. And he was the one I told you, man, he turned down the NBA to go into full-time ministry.
That ultimate sacrifice.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And then my spiritual father and mentor, Bishop Wellington Boone. He was the one who took my life to a whole nother level in terms of how to apply the Bible to my everyday life.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, and having a kingdom mindset. And so, man, of course, there's other ones, man, but those are the big ones that's been in my life, man. That's believed in me beyond, me believing in myself, sowing a seed of righteousness in me to do right, to live right, and I'm forever indebted to
man. I want to thank you, and I definitely want to thank the Most High and the Holy Spirit for telling me, you got to bring this brother on. I'm like, yo, who is this brother? And then I sent you the information, and I ain't hear from you. I'm like, yo, this brother, I got to get this brother on. I don't know who he is. I got to get this brother on here, though. I'm just looking at your posts and how you come in every day. I'm like,
yes, sir.
I got to get him. And coach, I had no idea that was your son, bro. We would have went through this whole interview and I would have never asked the question about him because I really didn't know that was your son.
That's amazing. Seriously, man. That's amazing.
It was all on
yes, sir.
Your presentation when I saw what you was, because I could tell when I'm reading people's stuff.
Right.
Like, all right, this brother he's showboating and this and that. And that's not the judge, just being real.
Right, being real.
But when I see somebody talking about certain scriptures and breaking them down,
right.
Oh, yeah, here a little different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yes,
here, and the zeal for it, man. So, coach, we took like a lot of your time, man. I'm gonna have clips that I'm gonna send to you and that I'm gonna put up on social media. You're gonna probably get tired of seeing them because I'll be putting them out a lot. But I want to thank you for coming on, man. Tell your family thanks for allowing us to have this time, man. And maybe one day I could come down and figure out a way, maybe even on Zoom or something like that, I could tell my story to your team, man.
Absolutely. That'd be so powerful, man. And
yeah, that'd be a
listen,
blessing, man.
I do want to follow up with you though, because I love the way you're set up with this podcast.
Oh yeah,
Also,
I'll tell you how to do it. It's not
okay.
hard.
Also, I'm doing a national speaking tour, how to bring your A game. I'm going to every state, bro. Seriously, I'm going to every state, and I want to talk to you about that as well. So
yeah, let me know.
There's
Let
a
me
lot
know.
left for us to do, man. I'm telling you, bro.
All praises, brother. All praises. But
Absolutely.
I definitely want to holler at your team, man, and
Yes,
let's hook up like that. So let's not be strangers. I'm gonna be texting you, and we're gonna go from there, brother.
Sound
all
good.
right.
Yes,
all right.
sir.
Thanks for coming on, man. All praises to the Most High.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Wow, man. You never know who you might run into in this road, man. And it was a great show tonight. All praises to the Most High. We're gonna have the clips going on, and want you guys to have a great rest of the night. Shalom.